It's interesting. Yeah, the lore is that Porygon is a computer program, so it got upgraded and then it got a virus.
Yeah, and the reason we chose it for this episode is that, much like every piece of entertainment out there these days, it's a remake of a remake.
And now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only Puckle Podcast!
It's Puckle! Puckle! It's Puckle! Puckle! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! Puckle! Grab your friends, it's that time again! Listen to the show where the fun never ends. It's Puckle! Puckle! Oh yeah! Puckle! Your host, Trigger Dash, and your co-host, whoever you have. It's Puckle! Puckle! Oh yeah, yeah, yeah! Puckle! Puckle.
Hello and welcome to episode 369 of the Puckle Podcast. I'm your host today, Professor Snag. Puckle, as you all know, or maybe you don't know, stands for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, where we talk about all things Pokemon. We talk about games, news, and even things such as Pokemon Conquest. Welcome back if you're old, and welcome to the show if this is your first time. Glad to have you on here if you are new. And today I am joined with two wonderful co-hosts. We have, all the way from Italy, we have the fluffiest Whimsicott.
Ciao a tutti.
Thank you for joining us this morning. And an early riser like myself, we have Sublime Manic.
Yes, the struggle is real.
All right, thanks for joining us today, folks. So what have you been up to in Pokemon lately?
I unlocked all the Pokemon characters in Smash.
All of them.
I unlocked every character in Smash just this morning.
Oh my gosh. I'm at like 550.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, I didn't unlock them all this morning. I just finished like the last 6 or 7 this morning.
And you're talking about spirits, right? Not just playable characters.
No, the fighters.
Oh, never mind. I was like, that is astounding. There's like 1,300.
No. I don't think I will ever unlock all of the spirits. Like, that's impossible. Some of those fights are... But this is not a Smash podcast.
No. I'll say, as a comment, I think Shamu did unlock all of them.
I'm not surprised. In Pokemon, I don't know, I played some Let's Go and then Smash came out, and I'm still mourning the fact that I finally, after like almost 20 years, I found an actual full odds shiny, and the Jigglypuff ran away.
Oh,
man.
What was your guys' first legit shiny?
The Red Gyarados.
Like, not that. No, like, random shiny.
Oh, I never found the random shiny before, like, this week.
So you're saying, like, all of them you were intending to, like, increase your odds and do better at getting a shiny? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I hunted for a ton of shinies, like the Masuda method, the Pokeradar, and all that stuff, but I never found a full odds random one until that Jigglypuff, because I was chaining something else, so that was a full odds one. And it ran. Let's talk about something else or I'm gonna cry.
Oh.
Okay. Well, for me, mine actually happened all the way back in Gen 2 on, I think, my original Gold playthrough. I had caught the Red Gyarados, so I kind of knew that, like, there was some different coloration. And it was just one of those afternoons where you just sit and play Pokemon for hours, and I was like, does this Rattata look different? Was there a different animation on this? And so I probably debated for like 5 minutes. Should I catch it? It's just a stupid Rattata. Or should I just leave it? But yeah, it was a shiny Rattata, so I caught it, yeah.
So mine was in Gen 4, and I had always wanted a shiny before that, and it had just never happened. But I got the biggest payoff ever, because my first legit shiny was a Zelf.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Didn't that happen to Scrawn as well?
I don't know.
Wow.
I think Scrawn got a shiny as Elf, but not, like, it wasn't his first shiny. Like, he got a random shiny as Elf in Gen 6, I think. He's gonna correct me when he hears the episode.
Sublime, what have you been up to lately?
The Smash, the Let's Go, but also, guess who just graduated with a master's degree?
What?
Congratulations!
I'm to be a master now. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm sure that's a lot of work, and I probably won't be looking at that for a long time for myself, but yeah, that's fantastic. Good job.
Thank you.
As for me, I like Sublime, my school year is wrapping up, and so it's been hard to find time to play video games. I've played like maybe a half hour of Smash, maybe up to an hour. Not a lot, unfortunately. But I have been trying to keep up with the Advent Pokemon. We've hit most of them so far, and it's fun because like each day I get to tell Snaggerina, okay, today you have to go hunt out this Pokemon. So it's like a daily task where she runs out and she catches a Pokemon and then uploads it and gets the Advent Pokemon. So
Wonderful.
I love it. I've been doing most of them. I missed a couple.
we missed the Landorus that came out earlier this week. It was a busy night. We'd caught the Pokemon, we just hadn't uploaded it yet, and then we just didn't get home in time. But I told her that I have a shiny Landorus, and I have certain ways that
You can just make one. Exactly.
So, yeah. Anyways, with that, why don't we go ahead and cut to the news?
Coming to you live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
And on to the news. We have a wide variety of news topics to talk about today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. If you are playing Super Smash Bros. And you have a copy of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, the spirits for the starter Pokemon are available. If you have a save file on your game, so you can get those spirits. I'm not quite sure what those spirits do specifically, but you can get them and add them to your collection of thousands and thousands of spirits.
I can tell you officially, they do stuff.
They do stuff. Awesome. Perfect.
Their support. I think they give you stat boosts after eating an item.
Ah.
I think that's what the Eevee does.
In Pokemon Go news, PvP is live, so if you don't have a 3DS and want to battle with your friends with real Pokemon, you can tap your phone screen and battle with them that way. So go and check that out, and you can get some pretty sweet rewards. I saw someone post that they did just a couple of battles, and they got 3 Sinnoh Stones from it, so that's actually kind of cool.
Oh.
That's a big deal.
Well, they did 2 battles. I think they won one of them and lost the other one, and so they received 2 for winning and 1 for losing.
Mm-hmm. Especially because you can battle from any distance if you're ultra friends or best friends. Which
reminds me, I need to send more gifts and increase friendship levels. Yes, Professor Snake is terrible at sending gifts, just because my bag is always full.
I'm getting pretty bad as well.
By the time you listen to this, this will have ended. There's a Lugia and Ho-Oh raid event going on this weekend where you could go and raid Lugia and Ho-Oh, and there was opportunity for them to be shiny as well. But that's done now. But starting either today or really soon, let me verify the date on that specifically. I believe it's on the 18th, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, starting on the 18th of December, so that'll actually be later this week. Tuesday. Okay, so tomorrow, the holiday event for Let's Pokemon Go is going to be going on. So you're going to see your favorites like Delibird there, and Pikachu's going to have a festive hat. But then there are going to be a few more things going on with it. Snover is now going to be available in the game, so you can get your Snover and your Abomasnow. And then, also, you will now be able to find in 7-kilometer eggs, Riolu, Munchlax, Smoochum, and Azrael. And Riolu and Munchlax are both new to Munchlax is new to the game. I haven't come across the Riolu yet, so I'll start opening, friend gifts to get eggs. And then also, from the 18th to January 2nd, you'll be able to get an extra incubator a day just for stopping at the Pokestop. So you can hopefully run through those eggs a little bit more quickly.
That is a big deal, especially with Adventure Sync.
It is, yeah. No, that's really awesome. Like, I made sure. I think they had the same event going on 2 years ago. We'd get that extra incubator. I was at my in-laws, and there was bad reception, and I had to go down to a local church to get my Pokestop. But I made sure I got that Pokestop so I could have that incubator.
Oh yeah.
And then the date for the next Pokemon movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, has been announced. That'll be coming to theaters July 12th, 2019 in Japan. It'll be interesting to see what this is, if it's going to be kind of like a half remake, half reboot, kind of like we've seen in the last two movies, or what that's going to be like. I don't know, what do you guys think about Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution?
Will we get Mega Mewtwo X or Mega Mewtwo Y?
Oh.
Or both?
That is a real question.
Yeah. Maybe it could go like the Kyurem episode and could do both at will.
Oh gosh, I don't know that that's gonna go over very well.
We don't speak of that.
If anything, I bet since Mega Mewtwo Y has already had a movie, they'd probably go X, would be my guess, but...
I would fit better with the movie that I remember, like Mewtwo being strong and powerful and big was a big part of the impact of that movie, so...
But you'll have to wait about 7 months to find out, so... And then the Global Link next year, in 2019, the Global Link is going to have a berry event, which will allow you to get the berries that have not been released in the game yet, so that you'll be able to get your hands on the Enigma Berry, Mickle Berry, Custat Berry, Jacoba Berry, and the Roap Berry.
I don't remember what half of those do, but I bet they're important.
If I remember correctly, the Custat Berry is...
That one I remember.
That one's actually significant for competitive because it's...
It gives you priority when you go below 1/4 health, right?
It gives you priority in some sense, yes, but it's super, super important. So, good, awesome. And then, so that's all for general Pokemon news, but for Puckle news, the UUTC signups are still going on, so go ahead and check those out on our Discord, and I believe we should have a link on our website as well. Sign up for the UUTC, it is our annual OU tournament, and where you get to bring a roster of 10 Pokemon and bring 6 to each of your battles. Signups go through the end of December, I think they end January 7th, don't quote me on that, but that sounds about right, and... that is going to be the first tournament in our 2019 tournament circuit. So, make sure you sign up and, check it out. There will be prizes, and the sooner you sign up, the sooner that we can decide, what prizing will be available for the tournaments. And then, the last thing I want to mention here is if you're looking for a last-minute, holiday gift, for your friends or family, why don't you go to our TeePublic store and check it out. We have some special discounts going on, so if you need to get a sweater or a t-shirt or a sticker for your loved one who loves Pokemon, go to our TeePublic store. The link will be in the description. And with that, is there any other news that you guys can think of?
I mean, you forgot throw pillows and Thatch is crying somewhere right now, but I think he'll get over it.
He's crying into his Puckle throw pillow, you're right.
Yep.
Don't forget you can also get throw pillows as well. Awesome. Well, with that, why don't we go ahead and head over to the Puckle Poke Quiz, where we'll test your co-host innate Pokemon knowledge. And welcome to the Puckle Poke Quiz, where we are going to test your co-host innate Pokemon knowledge. Sublime and Whimsicott are competing as a team against all the other players in a race to 30, and if I recall, Whimsicott, you are in striking distance right now, aren't you?
Well, if I get 7 points today, I think I win, but
yes.
I'm not confident that we can get 7 points.
Yes, there are 7 points available. We are going to have 5 questions to test their knowledge, and one of those questions will include a bonus point, so a total of 6 points that way. And they also have a hint if I throw a stumper at them, and but if they get all the questions right and don't use their hint, then they are going to be able to cash that in for an extra point for a total of 7. So with that, like I said, Whimsicott is at 23 points right now. If she gets the perfect score without the hint, she will win, and Sublime and I will roll those points over to the next series. So a lot on the line today.
Yep, $20 credits toward any Pokemon-related store because basket is basket.
to any Pokemon related store. So now that's TeePublic, that's Pokemon Center, that's GameStop.
No. Let's stop at those two, please.
All right, so let's go ahead and begin. All the questions today, almost all of the questions today, are in regards to remakes, which is our episode topic as well. And so I want to ask you this one here first. Remakes are often known to come with an accessory of some kind, except for one of them. Which remake games did not come with an accessory?
Okay, so Heart Gold Soul Silver had the Pokewalker.
Yes.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire had nothing. Fire Red and Leaf Green had the wireless adapter for the Game Boy Advance.
It's Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire had
And
nothing.
Let's Go Pikachu
has
Eevee
the
had
Pokeball Plus.
yeah.
So yeah, it has to be
Omega Ruby and Alpha
Sapphire.
Sapphire.
And that is correct. Nicely done. Yep. Oras didn't have that. The only thing I think they had is if you bought them in a 2-pack, you could get 50 potions for each game.
50 potions.
I know, right?
Right?
So nicely done. So you guys are on the board today. So let's go ahead and keep on rolling. The next one is about Fire Red and Leaf Green, the first remake game that we had. And in these games, as you played through and you got up to the Elite Four, you were actually limited to only the original 151 Pokemon in the Kanto Dex for you to be able to use and play in there until the post game, where you could have your friendship evolutions and things like that could happen. So your Golbat could evolve into a Crobat. Except for Eevee. Eevee still wouldn't evolve via friendship evolution in these games. Why not?
There's no time.
There's no clock.
Day and night
no
cycle.
clock.
You have to transfer Eevee to Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, where there is an actual clock, in order to make it evolve into Espeon or Umbreon.
And then you can trade it back.
Yep.
Is that your final answer?
Wait a minute. You can't get Eevee in Ruby and Sapphire, right?
No, but you can transfer the one you get in Fire Red and Leaf Green.
I think that's right then.
Evolve it
Yeah,
there.
let's go with that.
And bring it back.
Alright, is that your answer then?
Yes.
Sure.
That is correct, yes. Despite not, it wasn't displayed in those games, but Fire Red and Leaf Green did not have the day-night cycle, but Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald did, so you'd have to transfer the Pokemon there and then send them back to Fire Red, Leaf Green, or you could have also taken the Pokemon from Colosseum, Gale of Darkness, evolved them that way, and then transferred, so. But yes, Eevee would not evolve via friendship evolution in those games. Nicely done. Alright, moving on to the next one. In Heart Gold Soul Silver, that was a 4th generation game, so we were looking at nearly 500 Pokemon in the Pokedex. And so to help you fill out that Pokedex, you would be gifted starters from other regions. So my question for you is, who would gift you those, the starters from other regions?
I believe it's one of the professors. It's like a gag where you'd go into the grass and he'd be attacked again. And you'd grab a different set.
Let me make one quick comment here really quickly. This is your bonus point question as well, so there are 2 answers to this.
What you're describing happens in Auras with Professor Birch.
That is true. So what was the situation in Heart Gold Soul Silver? It's been so long.
I never finished the game. Like, I never beat the final... Like, I finished all of the game except for beating Red. I don't remember getting the starters from the other generations, because...
Well, okay, so... I want to say that maybe Professor Oak could be one of them, because you already get your starter from Elm, so maybe Oak gives you something as well. I feel like he could be one answer. And we can give 2 answers, right?
So at this...
there are 2 answers to this. Yes.
All right.
See, my problem with that is that in order to get the starters for all the 3 sets of starters you're missing, you would need 3 people.
One of them might give you more than one. If you, do something, and then you can get another one.
I don't know.
I feel like the 3 possibilities I can imagine it being are both professors, so Elm and Oak, and then maybe not the rival, but the helpful rival. The Lyra, and I forget the male version name.
Yeah. Ethan, I think his name is.
Yeah, Ethan. So maybe, do you want to just go with the two professors, Elm and Oak?
But what about the Gen 4 starters? Like, you get for those from the other games, I suppose. I'm not sure. Like, if you're confident...
I'm not. That was just, like, my, like...
Do you wanna...
educated guess.
Okay, so... I guess at this point we either give these answers, because I want to say that Bill has something to do with it.
Oh, that's a good point. Bill could be another person that might do it.
So we could, like, I can, like, forsake my rush to the win to actually get more points going, because if we don't know for sure, we could get the hint.
I think we should go boldly into the future and not use the hint. And if we miss it, then we can try and use the hint.
Okay.
Because, yeah,
so,
go big or go home.
Do you want to say Oak and...
Bill?
Are those your final answers?
Whatever, yes.
Yeah, sure, why not?
That is correct on one account. You're right that Professor Oak does give you your choice of the Kanto starters. And Whimsicott, you're right with the idea that the Sinnoh starters would be very easily transferable from anyone who had Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum. So in order to get your Gen 3 starters, you'd actually meet Steven Stone in Silphco.
Ooh.
Ah.
Well, we got one.
Yeah. We guessed one correctly.
Yep, and the other thing to note is these happened after you beat Red. It wasn't just completing the game or the national Pokedex or the regional Pokedex. It was actually after you beat Red.
So I could not have known. All right.
At this point, you have three points, and you have gotten 3 questions correct so far. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So for my next question, the Pokedex grew from Ruby Sapphire to Oras because it included the additions of Pokemon families from other generations, so either evolutions or pre-evolutions. And so what I want to know is I want you to name at least one of the Pokemon that was a pre-evolution that was added to the Hoenn National Pokedex.
I can think of Mantike and Munchlax.
I was thinking the same things, but which one of them is in the Hoenn National, like in the Hoenn regional dex?
In the Oras Hoenn regional dex.
Yes.
It wouldn't have been in Ruby and Sapphire. He's saying, like, what did they add for Oras to it?
Exactly. So was Mantine available in Ruby and Sapphire?
That is a good question. I'm just thinking, what are all of the Gen 4, like, pre-evolutions that were added? Oh, Badoo.
Badoo? Good one.
Because Roselia for sure
That one is
in
for
it.
sure. Good one. We're gonna say Badoo. Good job, Slime.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, Badoo is a pre-evolution.
Badoo is an acceptable answer for that. Nicely done, earning you a 4th point. Other acceptable answers, the one that I had in mind actually was Chingling. That was another one that was added.
True.
And let me just double check and see if there were any others that were added.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
I think those are the only 2 pre-evolutions that were
In
added.
it, yeah. Not the national dex, but for the regional dex.
For the regional decks, yes, exactly. So nicely done. You got your 4th point on that one. And the last one is, as always, is going to be a stat question. And so today I want to know what is the, of all the ghost Pokemon, and as a quick comment, this one does come from Ghostly Gecko in the Discord. So the question today is, what ghost Pokemon has the highest base attack stat?
Oh, does anything have higher than Mega Banette? Because Mega Banette is, like, up there.
How much does Mega Banette have? Because I know Marshadow is kind of insane as well.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, actually, I don't think Marshadow's that insane. Isn't Marshadow just 125?
It might be.
I'm pretty sure it's just 125 with the 125 speed, which is a really good spread. Marshadow is actually deceptively not that, like, going to be outrageous because it's just like a 600 base stat spread. And Mega Evolutions, like, pump it up really, like, disproportionately. I think it would be a Mega Evolution.
Okay, yes, because I know Blacephalon, like, you think of it as a special beast. It has a deceptively high attack as well.
It is, but it's not it's not the
not
highest.
Mega Banette high.
For sure.
I think you're right about Mega Banette.
I'm inclined to say Mega Banette. Are there any ghost legendaries? Not Giratina for sure, but
No.
are there any ghost legendaries that might be
Lunala is special.
Which one?
Lunala.
Lunala's not a ghost.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Cresselia for some reason.
No.
I don't know why. The moon, it's because they're both moon Pokemon.
Yep.
That's what it was. All right. Yeah, I think let's go with Mega Banette.
Yeah, I trust you. Let's go with that.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
And that is correct. Correct. Mega Banette is the highest at 165, followed by, I'm surprised you didn't mention this, Aegis Blade Form.
Oh, that's right.
That
That's
also would have been a good
150.
choice. But hey, Mega Banette was higher.
Yep. Good job, Sublime.
And then followed by Dummise, and then Blacephalon and Marshadow. So, nicely done, earning you 5 points. And since you guys did not use the hint, I don't think it's going to ultimately matter. But you have earned 6 points, which definitely does shake up the leaderboard.
Curses. Just short of the goal.
Just appear on a different podcast.
So with that, Scott, that puts you 1 point out of winning. You now have 29 points in first place, followed by Basket in second place with 25. Sublime, you're right there. You have 24 points in third place. And then followed by Scrawn in fourth, Dr. Shamu in fifth, Jushiro in sixth, R Sigma in seventh with 15 points, Gator in 8th, Maximus in 9th, I am sitting there in 10th with 7 points, and Bocephus and Viger are bringing up the rear. And so with that, we will move on to the topic. We'll catch you folks on the flip-flop.
Ciao! I'm the fluffiest whimsicott, and I want to tell you how you can enjoy Puckle even more and make it better at the same time. First, join our Discord server. You can hang out with us and a ton of cool people, take part in our tournaments, and get all our news right out of the gate. You can also interact and keep up with us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our subreddit. If you love live content, we're on Twitch at least twice a week with all sorts of streams, from viewer battles to shiny hunting to PTCGO. If you want to drop a little bit of your extra cash on us in exchange for cool stuff, we have both a Patreon and a TeePublic store, so be sure to check this out. And finally, there's so much great Puckle content that we're now on 2 feeds. Make sure you are subscribed to both Puckle and Puckle Plus, so you don't miss out on any of our sideshows. And drop us a review while you're at it. We really appreciate your feedback. Thank you!
And on to the topic. So today we're going to be talking about the remakes. I kind of wanted to do a look back and see kind of what were successful with some of the remakes in the past, and also talk about what is the future of remakes going to be, because I think that Let's Go is a very interesting game, and I don't know what that's going to mean for the remakes in the future. So back in Gen 3, they kind of cut off access to Gen 1 and 2 just because of hardware limitations, and so they did the remakes with Fire Red and Leaf Green. And I think those games had mixed reviews. What did you guys think about Fire Red and Leaf Green?
Honestly, I love Fire Red and Leaf Green. I absolutely adore them. But I do feel the terrible frustration of having your Golbat try to evolve every single time it levels up.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so frustrating when you use a Pokemon like Golbat and every single level up, it tells you, hey, it's trying to evolve, but it can't.
Yeah.
It's just, like, especially because Gold and Silver had already come out by then, so you're like, so what's the,
Yeah, exactly. And, I didn't know that, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get me I'm gonna struggle through using a Zubat and get a Golbat so I can have a Crobat in this game. How fun is that going to be? And, Crobat was one of the Pokemon I really enjoyed, but it's like, nope, not until you beat the Elite Four.
Which is, yeah, very annoying.
I think that was one of the big missteps of that game and I think that's also a misstep of Let's Go, that it's not Kanto Plus, where, like I said, in the Oraz remix, you got the pre-evolutions and evolutions that were added before.
Very true. Although, I feel like it doesn't bother me in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu because you have the Alolan forms.
Yeah.
Which do feel like an add-in that really mixes it up, so it's not just the only original Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right? I'm using an Alolan Ninetales in Let's Go Eevee, and it's really fun to have an Ice Fairy type to change up, my experience going through Kanto for the bazillionth time in my life.
As much as I adore some Alolan forms, I kind of would have preferred if they had just kept the original 151 period. No Melton, no Alolan forms, because it's not very coherent as it is. Like, I cannot evolve my Chansey, but I can have an Alolan Pokemon. I can have a Melton. That doesn't make sense to me. I can understand that other people are very much okay with it. I kind of am not.
I think part of what also frustrated me with the Golbat situation in Fire Red Leaf Green that doesn't frustrate me in Let's Go Eevee is when I evolve a Golbat, or when I level up a Golbat in Leaf Green, it tells me it's trying to evolve, and that irritates me. In Eevee, it doesn't do that at all. It just ignores that.
Yeah.
Which helps cut down on my frustration at it.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, and like I think one of the things about the Gen 1 remakes is I think they try to hold on to nostalgia really, really hard, at least for like the Kanto part. So that's why you don't have those. Whereas I think those games would have been made better if you could have Kanto Plus. You could have a few more Pokemon, you could have a few more evolutions. I think that would have been really nice. But
I was surprised they didn't. I'm really surprised. It's like, we already know that Zubat and Golbat have another, like, even the Let's Go, like, even the people that play Pokemon Let's Go would know that. Right? Like, so who are we, like, protecting from it? Like, I don't see the point in it. Yeah. It doesn't bother me, but I definitely think it would have been better if they were included.
I mean, much like the choice of not having Golbat evolve in Fire Red Leaf Green, it feels extremely deliberate. And that might tell you, yeah, they probably were strapped for time as it was. So they were very happy that the choice from up above was, let's just have 152 Pokemon in this. But I don't know. It feels deliberate, and I don't entirely agree with it.
I could playing devil's advocate, I could see them not doing this because of, and they could have modified this, but held item trait evolutions. So like your Sizer, your Steelix, your Rhyperior all have to hold something to be able to evolve.
That would be hard, because I can see how that would be difficult to implement.
But you could also do, just for this one game, they could just be a regular trait evolution, like your Alakazam, like your Machamp, stuff like that.
You know what? I think it would make sense if you could incorporate it just through the connection with Let's Go.
Yeah, same.
Right? Like, oh, if you want a Steelix, you have to get your phone.
Oh, you mean just regular Go?
Yes, regular Let's Go.
So that was the one other thing I want to bring up about Fire Red and Leaf Green is that they also introduced some post-game content in the Sevi Islands, which
was not impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they could have done a lot more with that. I mean, really, it was just kind of a hodgepodge of islands that had some Johto Pokemon strewn throughout them. In fact, again, this is when I didn't like use the internet to look up everything. I could have sworn, like, if you went deep enough into the Seven Island, you could like get Ho-Oh or Lugia. I thought that was the way that you could get those Pokemon in those games.
I think those were events.
They were events.
I think those were events.
Yeah, they were events, or you had to get them in Gen 3 in the Coliseum and Gale of Darkness games. So
yes, completing a Gen 3 Pokedex is no joke.
No.
That's a struggle.
I'm all about completing Pokedexes. Gen 3 was the first one that I completed. So
really? That is very impressive, yes. I must say.
And yeah, I had one Pokemon on my cart at a time. Even the Deoxys and Celebi, they got traded to me. They were on my cart as well. So anyway, I don't know. Any comments on the Sevi Islands? Are you glad or sad that they didn't make it into Let's Go?
I have no qualms about losing the Sevi Islands. I thought they were, like, fluff and not good fluff, unlike Whimsicott. She's the good fluff.
Oh, thank you, darling. I didn't mind the Sevi Islands in for Red Leaf Green, but I'm not sad that they didn't come back for Let's Go. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, the only part of me is, like, the completionist in me is like, well, it's part of Kanto. It's something that we had before. Why not have it again? But I suppose if you're not going to throw in like your Crobat and your Umbreon and your Espeon, you're not going to have those either. So
yeah, I mean, if you're talking like coherent geography, any game where you're in Kanto and you cannot go to Johto is just gonna sound dumb. So
let's go ahead and transition over to Johto. Then we got our Heart Gold, Soul Silver, which, in my opinion, are still probably the best representation of what a Pokemon game is. Those games were fantastic, I think. The graphics look stunning.
I completely agree.
They look stunning on the DS hardware. A lot better, in my opinion. One of my big qualms with Gen 5 is that the graphics didn't look great.
Is how it moves.
Yep.
I'm aware of that opinion.
But
we're not going to get into it.
We're not going to get into that today. Today's not about Gen 5. Today is about remakes. And so I think that these are like the epitome of what Pokemon games are. They were fantastic. You had 2 regions. You could collect all the gym badges and you could see all of them. It was just a really, really good way to handle a remake, I thought. Thoughts or comments on that from you guys?
I love Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I think it is quite nearly like a perfect game. And one of the best Pokemon games, if not the best Pokemon game, for sure.
I have some mixed feelings about them. Like, I think they're amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I think most people who spent, like, countless hours in Gold and Silver and maybe Crystal as kids have a bit more of an appreciation of them and can more easily overlook some of their defects, like the horrible leveling curve, how impossible it is to grind in them, because yeah, they're amazing, but as far as some of the game mechanics go, they are not the most enjoyable games that Pokemon could ever have made, although they get pretty darn close.
It's just like the experience of playing through the game, I think it's one of the best in the series, for sure. It's when you look at the context of Pokemon outside of just playing through it, right?
Yeah.
That was the last game that I believe did not have reusable TMs, for example.
Yep,
yes.
That's true, yeah. So it still had some flaws, but it was still a very, very solid entry into the series.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm trying to think, like, thinking back to it, I didn't remember the grind issue, but that's also probably because I played through the just regular, through the Elite Four game, which is like the base game, and then I probably transferred a lot of my Pokemon in, and so like I went and beat up Red with my Blaziken and stuff like that.
Plowed through Kanto.
Exactly, yeah.
Sense.
So if you're looking at them on their own, then that's really hard. But if you do have the other games to drop in, then it gets a bit easier.
I tend to play Pokemon game in a void. Like, if I'm playing Sun, I'm gonna play with Pokemon from Sun, and so on and so on. And the reason I never beat Red in Soul Silver is that I found it impossible to grind my Pokemon up to the level they needed to be as an adult. Like, an adult does not have the required time to beat Red in Soul Silver.
Oh my gosh, the struggle of playing video games as you get older with grinds, it's just like, I don't have time for a grind. I'm not interested in investing that for the payout. You know? You both know. We all know.
We all know, yes. So I think all the points that you guys made, I'd say like, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 9.5. Yeah, it has its flaws, but it is nearly a perfect Pokemon game.
I do think maybe, like, I was that kid who played Gold and Silver as my second Pokemon game, and it was just so epic when it came out, right? It was the first Pokemon game that added more Pokemon. Like, even to this day, I feel like the rival in Gold and Silver was the last great rival because he wasn't nice. Like, I'm so sick of super nice, kind rivals. Give me a jerk, right? And this was the last time it happened. Like, there's a lot of things going for it that definitely press all of my best nostalgia buttons. And it was just updated in the best way that I think remakes can be, where they incorporate a lot of new elements and current elements with all of the greatness of the nostalgia. And I think it nailed that perfectly.
Yep. And then we had Oras, which was the last game before Gen 7, which was the remakes of Ruby, Sapphire, and I guess not really Emerald a whole lot.
Emerald was kind of well, I mean, they included the whole Rayquaza storyline. Yeah. Sort of. They have the Z episode, right? Or the Delta episode, which is kind of that,
So I'm kind of mixed on these because just looking back and playing them, they had a lot of quality of life improvements because you had the Pokénav, which was a nice improvement for the series overall. You did have the Delta episode. You had some really nice cutscenes when you're battling Groudon and Kyogre, and I thought those were really interesting. But playing through these ones, I felt like, yes, they recreated the games, but it didn't like have the soul, no pun intended, but I'll accept it now. It didn't have the soul of Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Do you guys know what I'm saying?
I wonder if my experience with it, I feel very similarly to you, Snag, but I think it might be because that's not my nostalgia game, you know? Like, I wasn't that young when I played Ruby and Sapphire, and so I don't get as excited about going back to it. And I feel like there are a lot of people who do.
For my sister, Sapphire was her first Pokemon game, and she was very excited about Alpha Sapphire. But honestly, I was excited about Alpha Sapphire as well because Gen 3 is one of my favorites. I have played Emerald a lot of times. I don't usually replay Pokemon games that many times, but I've played Emerald several times. And honestly, my experience with Auras was amazing. I loved them. I love the colors. I love the sounds. I loved the Dexnav. Like, the one thing that kind of was disappointing for me in Auras was that after playing Gen 6, not being able to customize my character felt a bit off.
So upsetting.
Sure.
But other than that, I love Auras. Like, I absolutely adore it.
Yeah. See, for me, like, I took a break from Pokemon, and so Ruby was the game that got me back into it. Like, Ruby was, again, like, the first Pokedex that I completed, and I sunk so many hours into that cart. And, like, I don't know, it feels like it fell a little bit flat from what I would expect. Now, I will say the improvements that they made to Team Aqua and Team Magma, I think those characters were a lot more lively. I think those were really good, but it fell flat for me overall. And also, lack of Battle Frontier. What do you guys think of Game Freak? Come on.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. That one was... But here, have a tiny model of the Battle Frontier. Like, I feel mocked.
That's just insulting. Yes.
But I did like that they started to drop hints in this game, like where you find Looker washed up on the beach. Like, that was like hinting at him coming through a wormhole. Which led into like the Gen 7 games and whatnot. So I thought that was pretty nice. They did a good job tying things in those regards. And so those were the remakes that we have most familiar. And then we got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which I still haven't had the opportunity to play, but I think I have a pretty good feel for what those games are all about. And we've covered those a lot lately. So I guess my question now is going to be, what do you guys think is going to happen in regards to the remakes of the future? I ask this because we know we have our Gen 8 2019 game coming out, and I guess what's going to happen in the future? Are we going to get Diamond and Pearl remakes? Are we going to get Let's Go Johto shortly after this? What do you guys think is in the future for remakes?
Yes. To break that down, I think we're getting all of those things. We already know we're continuing to get new games, the 2019 game, for example. I think after that we will be getting a more traditional game of a Diamond Pearl remake. Like, because we have the two lanes now, right? We have regular game and Let's Go games.
Yep.
So we have our regular games, which will have the new games as they come out, but also the old school style remakes a la Auras and Heart Gold Soul Silver. Because, like, a lot of people want to play those games in the main Pokemon game style, right? Or the traditional, rather. And then you have the Let's Go series. I think it did well if they're going to make a follow-up, don't you?
I haven't seen the movie and I haven't played the games, but there are I hear there are pretty strong hints that Johto's coming.
Exactly, and so you're gonna do that. But here's the thing: every game in the Let's Go series is essentially a remake, right? So they're just gonna go on their own track of going through regions as remakes, and that's fine. That's good.
Yeah,
love it.
I guess, like, I hope you're right, at least as far as the Gen 4 remakes, because I kind of want to play through Sinnoh on a platform that doesn't require me to slog through the game at that speed. But I'm not entirely sure, because this is what you would expect from the Pokemon Company. And they've pulled the rug out from under us so many times lately that I don't know what to think anymore. And also, you have to consider that, yes, it would make sense for them to go 1 year Gen 8, 1 year Gen 4 remake, 1 year Let's Go Johto, and then so on and so on and so on. So you have pretty much one game every year, and you kind of plug the leap years with Let's Go. But that is only going to happen if all of these games sell really, really, really well.
That's true. The one thing I might add to that timeline, Scott, is I think we'll probably see Gen 8 in 2019. I think there's a strong possibility we get Gen 4 remakes in 2020, and then 2021 is where we would get get our revisit of our Gen 8 games. We would get our upgraded version, director cut, whatever you want to call it.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
It might, but, like, lest we forget, Gen 6 wasn't that long ago, and where's Pokemon Z?
I think I think what's happening is that all of these third versions / sequels, they just don't do very well. And if you don't need to plug those years and you can just use Let's Go instead to sell games, I think you're probably better off making remakes. I think the remakes sell better than the third versions.
You're probably right about that. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know Thatch would probably look those up himself, but it'd be interesting to see what the plan is with that. And also thinking about that, if they did have that year break in between from the standard version to the director's cut, if you have that year break, you kind of lose the steam for that generation, kind of.
Yeah.
But also, I despised playing Gen 7 Sun and Ultra Moon. I hated playing those back-to-back. That was actually kind of...
It was so frustrating. I completely agree.
Yes.
I think part of it is because it's not a sequel. It's just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
With slightly different changes, right? Like, I don't have that problem with Black to White 2 because it's a sequel and you get to see growth from the characters that you saw the first time, right? In Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, it's not different enough, or like it's not continuing a story. It's just the same thing, slightly different.
Yeah.
So, Sublime, you think we're going to see both? We're going to see...
I think we'll see a mixture. I definitely think we're going to see both tracks of remakes. Let's Go will continue doing its thing, and the main series will continue to make remakes every so often as well.
Interesting. I don't know. Like I said, it's really hard right now to predict what they're going to do. I mean, maybe they could surprise us, and the next game after 2019 is going to be Let's Go Sinnoh. Let's Go P.U.C.L and...
No. Stop. Just stop. Please, no.
No.
So, any other thoughts on remakes before we wrap it up, folks?
Nope. I mean, we could say, oh no, the Gen 4 remakes are never going to happen, so that they are announced tomorrow. But we're not Thatch, so it wouldn't work.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, plus they've been dropping a lot of hints in Gen 7 about Gen 4 references, I'll say. There's a lot of Gen 4 references in Gen 7.
There are a lot of references to a lot of things in Gen 7.
I feel like it's highly disproportionate to, like, they mentioned Sinnoh quite a lot.
I don't know, I didn't notice that.
It's a very mentioned region in there, I feel like. I don't know, maybe I'm seeing things that aren't there.
But I agree. I think a revisit to Sinnoh would be good. I think it's definitely due, especially so it's not so slow. Although, if you guys go back and play Platinum, that's supposed to cut out a lot of that slog. I don't remember the slog very well.
I only played Platinum. I never played Diamond and Pearl. And actually, looking at some of the choices that were made, I sincerely hope the remake plays more like Platinum.
I'm sure they will.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they will. So, alright, anyways, with that's our commentary on remakes. We'll kind of preview our mailbag already here a little bit. For this week's mailbag, we kind of want to know, what do you think about remakes? What are your favorite remakes, and what do you think is on the horizon for remakes? Send that into pucklepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll hopefully read those on the episode next time. And with that, we're going to take a break and then come back with Poke of the Episode.
Here at Puckle, the holidays are in full swing, including our TeePublic store. You can go check it out and get 30% off anything from December 3rd to December 13th. We have classic t-shirts for $14, mugs for $11, notebooks for $10, stickers for $2, wall art posters essentially for $7.50. You can get the Puckle logo, some of the cool co-host art that Basket's been doing. You can also go ahead and pick up, I guess, a tote bag. We have that, and my personal favorite, as always, the throw pillow. The throw pillows are really soft, they're really nice. And you can get any kind of Puckle logo you want, or even that cool Starry Eevee logo. We'll also put some Christmas designs up for you guys to take a look at. So if you guys would do that, just hop out and over. It's a great way to support the show, and we'd really appreciate it. But if not, regardless, have a happy holidays from us here at Puckle.
Poke of the Episode.
And we're back with Poke of the Episode. Today we have Pokedex entry number 474, Porygon Z, the virtual Pokemon.
A faulty update was added to its programming. Its behavior is noticeably strange, so the experiment may have been a failure. And that's how I feel about Porygon Z.
No, he's so cute.
So Porygon Z is an interesting Pokemon. It has the distinct, I shouldn't say distinct, but it is one of two Pokemon that has 3 stages in its evolution line, but can be at level 1 at that highest stage. Because you evolve it through trade, first with the upgrade, and then followed by the Dubious Disc. So that's how you can get Porygon Z to evolve, so it can be at level 1. It's interesting, yeah, the lore is that Porygon is a computer program, so it got upgraded, and then it got a virus.
Yeah, and the reason we chose it for this episode is that, much like every piece of entertainment out there these days, it's a remake of a remake.
It is a remake of a remake. That's fantastic. So, competitively, it is in the UU borderline tier, so
it's been banned from UU.
Yep. So if you'd be using it in your OU team, possibly. The biggest thing going for it is that it has 135 special attack
and adaptability.
So if you're using those normal type special attacks, it has a × 2 multiplier instead of a 1.5 multiplier. So that's huge. But the rest of its stats are kind of middling. It has 85 HP, 80 attack, but who cares about the attack? Defense 70, special defense of 75, and its speed is okay at 90. I guess I'd probably want a little bit more out of that. So one of the sets, though, that you could use that is really interesting, I like it a lot, is the Z conversion set. So you slap a Normalium Z on it, you give it adaptability, and you have the moves Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Recover, and then Conversion is what you use for the Z move. What Z conversion does is it's kind of like Komodo's Z attack. It doesn't do any damage, but it increases all the stats by 1 stage. So you do your Z conversion, and you're going to, your Thunderbolts and your Ice Beams are going to be hitting that much harder with that 135 special attack.
It also, I believe, uses the regular effect of conversion as well, so you would convert it into an electric type. So you get the adaptability on Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so that'd be even better. That'd be amazing. Yeah. And you run it timid with a little bit dropped into defense, and then as well as special attack and speed.
It's a standard 252 spread.
Yep.
You want all the special attack and speed because it's a sweeper.
Yep, exactly. And with that Z conversion, I mean, you get a 1.5 boost to whatever your defense is, depending on what you did. So, those stats are looking a lot better after that Z conversion. But yeah, you're right. It's a sweeper. Still, the defenses aren't fantastic, but you said you'd seen some other sets with this. What had you seen?
Yeah, it's almost the same, like, the moves are similar, and you still have Normalium Z, but what you use instead of conversion is Hyper Beam. So you have Z Hyper Beam on top of adaptability on a normal type, and it's just gonna kill anything that's not a ghost type, essentially.
Yep.
Or, I guess, a really specially defensive steel or rock type. But it's just so much fun. Like, if you don't want to go the long game, you just want to go all in, seeing Porygon Z just blast something. It's just so much fun.
Very nice, good. So yeah, that's the competitive analysis. Sublime, you know better than I would. Has there been any notable Porygon Z cards? There hasn't been anything as of late, if I recall.
There have been some interesting Porygon Z cards. The last one that I can remember being of note is quite a way back during... The last one I can think of is during Black and White. There were some interesting effects. There was during, I think it is a Plasma Pokemon, or during that era. Let's see what the most current one is. The most current one would be...
there's one in Burning Shadows, actually.
A Burning Shadows one, yes. Let's see what that is. It has an ability, yes, and it's quite an interesting one. It has the ability Initialize, which when you play this Pokemon from your hand, to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may de-evolve each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into the opponent's hand. It is a stage 2, so for that effect, it's kind of like, is that really what you want to be investing your deck in? But that could be a powerful effect, hypothetically, because with all of the GX stage 2s running around, if they have just like a hair of damage on them, the pre-evolutions are going to have much lower HP levels.
It'd be an easy way to get a KO, I believe, but the other downside of that is that their next turn, they're just going to evolve all those Pokemon again.
True. Yeah, so it's not like a noteworthy card, but it has an effect that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just that the attack on the card absolutely sucks.
You wouldn't even use the attack ever.
Yeah.
Like at all. Yeah. Has Zap Cannon for 3 energy and only does 80, and you can't even use it the next turn.
Yeah. It's just a lot of investment for an effect that is rather easily countered?
It's a cute effect, but it's a lot of investment into a deck for the amount of space to pull this off, or not a lot of payoff, generally. And I like that we chose Porygon Z because since we're talking about remakes of remakes, I think this is an interesting example where the previous remake might be considered better in some ways, because Porygon 2 has been a star in the VGC for a number of years in different formats.
It has.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
And Porygon Z is just like, why would anyone use that in my mind?
I guess just for the novelty of Z adaptability Hyper Beam.
Adaptability with its special attack is very potent, especially because Porygon 2 gets to use Eviolite and has better bulk. It's in that situation similar to Dusclops.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you use Download as the ability and get a special attack boost, something is going to die to that Z move. But then, what is Porygon going to do next turn?
Yeah, and no, adaptability is consistent and reliable.
All right. So, any other thoughts on Porygon Z? I think it's an interesting concept, and I think they've probably explored it as much as they can. I don't see any more like Porygon evolutions coming down the line, but
So I didn't realize this until very recently, and maybe I'm not the only one, but maybe you guys knew this. Porygon Z is literally flipping the head upside down and the body upside down in opposite directions of Porygon 2.
Oh, you're right. Ha.
Does that blow your mind?
Yeah, kind of.
oh well, yeah, interesting. So it's like someone just kind of like took the toy and like snapped its neck, and now you have your Porygon Z. Interesting. I didn't realize that either.
That is kind of okay. That's creeping me out. Let's cut it here because I don't want to talk about this anymore.
All right.
Yeah, because that's its neck on the top. That's not a horn.
All right, and with that, let's go ahead and call it here, and we will go ahead and catch you folks on the mailbag.
It's mail time! It's time for the mailbag! Send in your emails!
And onto our mailbag section. As always, the mailbag is brought to you by Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves!
There it is. All right. And today we have a few emails that we're going to read for you from some of our listeners. And if any of them meet our fancy, they will get and they don't have it already, they will get the Green Tauros badge. This will be one of the last few opportunities you can earn it in 2018. Next year we'll break out the 2019 variant as a role on our Discord. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to take the first one here by Sebbread. Greeting, hosts of P.U.C.L. I would say take me to your leader or champion, but odds are Thatch is reading this. Your odds are wrong. Thatch is not reading this. Well, I suppose odds are right, but no, you're right. Professor Snag is reading this. This is my first time writing in for the mailbag, but I've been listening for quite a while, about a year now. I have loved listening to the amazing conversations that you guys have had, and my favorite moment has probably been in the Gen 8 gimmick episode where someone mentioned clearly the best idea was Pokemon Fusion.
No. God, no. We already have enough of that. We have too much of that. With our Kyrems and Necrozmas of the world.
Right. In regards to last week's topic, I don't play VGC anymore as it was way too complicated for me, but I did employ my casual playthrough of Pokemon Sun version with my Litten and my Trico that I got from a friend to name Knife Gecko before trading him over. I've wanted to get more into the TCG side of Pokemon, but I don't have the money to get a new deck every time the Pokemon Company chooses to drop a new expansion. Isn't that the truth? I built a deck once, and that was a lot of money that I did not make use of. But oh well, what can we do against the Nintendo overlords? What you can do is you can play TCGO. You can play that. That's where you'd actually be able to play a lot of P.U.C.L people, and you can play it completely free. So, I say, Sublime, that's almost exclusively where you play, right?
That is exclusively where I play, and it's a lot cheaper.
There you go. Lastly, I also remember Thatch talking about his Perler bead art of Gen 1 sprites and felt like it would be a good chance to show off my pixel art of Mega Charizard X, Rayquaza, and my other favorites that I made with standard-sized graph paper. And he sent us some pictures. Maybe we'll suggest that if he wants, you could probably drop those into our general Discord if he wants to show those off to folks. Thank you for keeping my love of Pokemon going strong, Sebbread. All right. So let's go ahead and, Scott, we'll let you take the next one from Leather86.
All right. Dear P.U.C.L Podcast, I've only started listening to your podcast, but I already love them. They're a great source of entertainment for my long drives between home and college. Oh, well, we're glad to entertain you. My question, what is your favorite Pokemon that you have ever owned? To give you an example of what I mean, I own an Espeon named Apollo that I am attempting to get every ribbon for from Gen 6 onwards. The only ribbons I have left are the ones in Gen 7. Apollo is easily the Pokemon I have put in the most work for, especially since I had to learn how to get a 50-win streak in the Battle Maison, and then build a team that could carry Apollo through it. The effort it took to get that team together really solidified Apollo as my favorite Pokemon I've ever owned, and I've been playing since before I was in school. Interested to hear you guys' story? Leather86. Oh, this is a good email.
It is.
I love that it's named Apollo. Winning points for me right there.
Right?
Yes. I have to say Superior for myself. I have a Superior that I have I bred for so long to get it the right hidden power. Raised it to 100 to then hyper train it afterwards. It's named after, I think it's named Lucifer after my original PTU character on the YouTube.
Wow.
Nice.
Love that one. I mean, of course it would be something Snivy related as I look at my 3 Snivy plushies on the couch of different sizes.
I think for me, it would have to be, I am very attached to the Greninja that was my starter in Generation 6. He was my first level 100 Pokemon, but I think the prize has got to go to Soviet Thatch, because when you hatch a 6 IV shiny Charmander and you name it after an in-joke on your podcast, it's just gotta have your favorite Pokemon forever, right?
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Very nice. For me, it is probably gonna be the Blaziken that I brought over from Gen 3. It was my starter in Gen 3, and I brought it all the way up from Gen 3. I leveled up to level 100 in Gen 3 just because I, for fun, ran through the Elite Four so many times. And one thing I made sure I did is I brought it to Gen 6, the Oraz games, and I gave it Mega Stone, and then I had it go and kick the Elite Four's butt again in the new generation. So
Wow.
I love that. I love that it's from the original Ruby Sapphire cartridge.
Yeah. And then I brought it to the remakes and let it kick butt there. So that's probably the one that I would say I like the best. I also may have went in and kind of tweaked its genetics to make it a little bit better of a battler, but
as one does.
Yes. So all right, awesome. Nice email, Leather86, and let's go ahead and Sublime. Why don't you take this last one from the boy Gardevoir?
Sure. All right. Dear Puckle, just wanted to write in to tell you that my preferred OU core is Cofagrigus and Malamar. So the way it usually goes is Malamar leads, used Telekinesis, then Hypnosis, then switches to the Trick Room Setter, then Cofagrigus. Once it comes out, it nasty plots up, then preferably sweeps the opponent for the win. So that's all for today. See you on the next episode. Bye-bye, Butterfree, the boy Gardevoir. Sent using my Dex Nav.
That's an interesting way to use those. I used Malamar in a draft league once, and but it mostly sat on my bench. So I've never used a Cofagrigus, so I can't really comment on that. I have one in my PTU game, but
I've used Malamar in draft league as well, and I have to say this setup looks like too much setup.
It's a lot of work.
I don't think the opponent is gonna let you do that too often.
Telekinesis, then Hypnosis, then Trick Room, then Nasty Plot. That's a lot of turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Malamar has a ×4 weakness that is too easy to exploit. So
to a very common move that people have on almost every team.
Yeah, but you know what?
So if you can make it work and have fun with it, more power to you.
All
exactly.
True. Very true. Malamar's a cool Pokemon, too.
I love Malamar.
So that's the end of the mailbag. Who would we like to give the Green Tauros badge roll to?
He who asks the questions.
Yeah, Leather86.
Yeah, Leather definitely generated the most conversation. Very good email. So, Leather86, if you'd like to receive the Green Tauros badge roll, come join us on our Discord. The link will be in the description. And come say hi and that you talk to one of the admins and we'll get you set up with the badge. And with that, folks, we're going to wrap up the episode. Just as a few reminders here, if you enjoyed what we were talking about and want to continue the conversation, come join us in our Discord. You'll find someone to chat about anything Pokemon pretty much any hours of the day. We have people internationally like Whimsicott and other folks who just want to talk about Pokemon as much as they can, so you can do that in our Discord. You'll find the link to that in our description. Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias. Follow us on YouTube and Twitch, where we post battle videos, and then on Twitch we do Shiro and Thatch stream on a weekly basis. Follow us on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter and in our Discord, we've got to mention this in Puckle News. We have our Puckle Advent calendar going on every day leading up until Christmas. You can get a special Pokemon that we have designated for you to get. So if you want to find out how to do that, follow us on Twitter and come join us in the Discord. And if you have a little bit of extra money jingling around in your pockets, you can support us in a couple of ways. One way to directly support us is through Patreon, where you can get special bonus episodes of the PTU podcast, which will be going live soon, I believe, but you can get several episodes that are uploaded there right now, and everything that you donate to the podcast goes right into the podcast to make it better for you folks, the listeners. And then also, if you want to get a little bit back, you can also go shop at our TeePublic store. As I said, you can get some throw pillows, some t-shirts, stickers with all the Puckle brands, as well as our PTU logos and all that, or not PTU, sorry, PDL logos and all that stuff. So if you have a little bit of extra change rolling around in your pockets and can support us that way, that would be fantastic. Every little bit is appreciated. And so with that, that's all I got for you today, folks. I am Professor Snag, filling in for Trainer Thatch.
I am the fluffiest Whimsicott.
And I'm Sublime Matter.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
Time in Lavender Town. Time to say our goodbyes. It's closing time. Farewell, my friends. I'll catch you on the flip side.
As always, we would like to thank our patrons here at the Puckle Podcast for making everything that we do possible. So thank you to Viger, Duly Noted, 10 Little Men, Andrea, The Fluffiest Whimsicott, Dr. Shamu, Snag, Dexio, Jushiro, Rotted Mushroom, Nick, Jimmy, Ryan, Seth Vilo, Minor Manetric, Claude9, Kevin, R. Sigma, Doc McStuffles, Nathan, The Golden Klefki, The British Gent, Trevor, TJ, Doc Knox, Echo, Shambles, Birdkeeper Cobra, Louise, Wade, Daniel, Trey B, Jonathan, Greg, Bodtech, Alec, Mikey, Ozzy, Jedi DJ, Sparky, Nick, Dylan, Shira, Ironcaster, Orange Avenger, Michael, Thomas, Zero, Curtis, Anime Gravy, Hazelnut, Joseph Inferno, Alex, and Eric. Catch you guys on the flip-flop.